Hey everybody, welcome back to ADHD Surprise. I'm your host, Dread Pirate Jamie, and today we're going to look back to that day when I was first told about ADHD and me, and all the stuff that went through my head right then. So, I've already shared with you all the experience of sitting across my therapist and having her say, "Has anyone ever talked to you about ADHD?" And I said that moment was kind of like in The Sixth Sense, and I had all these flashbacks from my life kind of pour in my mind, and all of a sudden it was like I just knew she was right. And today I thought I would share with you a list of things that I wrote down. So one of the things I did right after that, and for the next few weeks, I wrote down a lot of things in this journal. And just as I was trying to process this and put everything together, so I'm actually going to read stuff that I wrote in the week after this happened. And I'm just going to put a disclaimer that this is not diagnostic. This is not not all of these things are necessarily tied to ADHD, but this was part of my processing. Is that as I looked at the symptoms, the official symptoms lists and things like that, these were things I picked out from my own life that I thought, hey, this could be part of that. So it's just my own list, my own things. So don't take it for diagnostics. But here we go. Disclaimer done. So these are my initial moments. I was awful at doing homework in school. I was actually pretty good at tests though. I'm a sensory avoider. I tend to try to stay away from a lot of different sensory inputs physically. I drink a ton of Diet Coke. And so, I'm wondering if this is kind of a form of self-medication because there's caffeine in there and, several cans a day for sure. Heavy procrastinator. That's self-explanatory, right? I have trouble picking out a conversation in a crowd. Really, have trouble distinguishing one voice out of many. I have a terrible short-term memory. Ask me what the first thing on the list was. I won't know unless I look back at the book. I've been labeled, even as an adult, labeled inattentive in meetings. Even if it's a meeting where I was listening intently and taking notes. That one really baffled me at the time. I struggle with eye contact. I'm really drawn to screens. I'm prone to addiction and addictive behaviors. I have carried a Fidget for stress relief in meetings for 14 years. And here it is. It's still in my pocket to this day. Little ball. Feels great. Makes me feel better. I'm physically and mentally restless in meetings. The longer they go, the more I need to get up and walk, and the more I just want to scream that the meeting should have been over an hour ago. I stole a lot of things when I was a kid. I'll just leave that one at that. I stole a lot of things from a lot of people. Even, going against my own beliefs and values that I'd been taught, it didn't matter. So it's kind of an impulsive, thing. I can't let go of collections and possessions, especially if they were attached to like a, past fixation, something I was really, really into. So I have a lot of things that I owned when I was a kid. My life at home and work consists of messy piles. That's all around my bedroom, all around my office, my desk, everywhere. Just very, very disorganized. I've been told that I talk too much. In elementary school and even middle school, I had to be reminded to shower by my peers. I have a great difficulty with reading and retaining information from textbooks. Most books that are nonfiction, I just can't. I just can't do it. I'll sit there and read the same paragraph over and over and over. But give me a good novel series, I could burn through that series in a week. Nonfiction, that's tough, especially if it's assigned or work or, something like that. As a teacher, I was horrible about grading papers and student work. Like, it would just pile up on me. But at the same time, I'd be able to spend hours a day in the minutia of running the chess clubs that were associated with school. So it was an interesting little difference there, where I could hyper focus on the chess clubs, but then when it was kind of the routine stuff of teaching, that was really tough for me to do. I didn't know what time blindness was until, I joined the ADHD community, but I've got it bad. And looking back, like, it's just so easy to tell. I can burn through hours so quickly if I'm, engaged in one of my fixations, or I'm in a hyper focus mode. But time can just go so excruciatingly slowly otherwise. No idea. I may even, I think I called my dad last week and it's been a month or two, so time blindness can hit you in a couple different ways. I had 79,000 unread emails in my inbox. 79,000. I've got photos to prove it. So many broken promises. Again, work, home, wife, kids. It doesn't matter. Most of the time, it's not. All the time, it's not malicious. I want to please. I want to do things. Honestly, I just forget most of the time, and other times, I really want to do the thing, and then I just ultimately can't. So many unfinished projects. I can't tell you how many projects that I have started and then abandoned, and they're all around me. Piles of mail everywhere. That's how I categorize it. That's how I keep it. I probably have 3 months of mail on my counter right now, or more. Just whenever the last time that it got too big, and then I shredded it all one day, and it took like 5 hours, and then it's just grown again. So still working on that one. Late on bills, even with money in the bank. Sometimes I'm just late on paying my bills, and I get the lovely little notices that they're going to shut off the electricity and the water, and I say, okay, I'll go pay it now. Oh, so many difficulties with jobs, job loss, just because of a lot of the things that I've already described. Just so many difficulties there. I'm motivated only to do non-preferred activities, things that I don't want to do. It takes severe consequences. Like, severe consequences have to be like impending for me to get something done that I don't want to do. The first semester of college, nearly failed out. It was the first time in my life that I was on my own, and I had, low executive functioning skills and, low or high impulsivity, and that's just a bad combination for somebody who's out on their own for the first time and you didn't know I had ADHD. I'm terrible at independent practice, but I'm really good at performance. There's something about it, I really like singing. I like band, choir, all sorts of things, playing instruments, and I never practice on my own. I just don't. I can't get myself to do it. But I am, when it comes, there's an audience in front of me, I will turn it on, baby, and it's something different. It's a whole new level. So it's a different thing. I'm an amazing starter, but terrible at follow through. And then, another thing that popped through my head, my older brother was diagnosed with ADD when he was in high school. And one of those things that I just wonder, well, why not me? We'll get to that another day. And the last one written here is, I'm unnecessarily quick to anger. Just kind of have a disproportionate response sometimes. And a lot of times I'll find that, it's like after work, I held it together all day long. And if you have like explosive anger at work, guess what happens? There's a major consequence. But you go home, you know, there may be a long-term consequence, but you know, you go home as the adult and you're angry. There's not an immediate, you know, negative consequence for that most of the time for you. So it's really easy to just come home and like release all that stuff that you held in. So, man, okay. That list kind of bums me out, just to be honest. It's because it's really comes down to like, it's a lot of struggle. It's a whole lot of struggle. And there are some real positives to ADHD, but that's not what was on my mind when it was first brought up to me. I'm like, oh my goodness, all these things happened to me. All these things were happening. And wow, you know, this is the stuff that went through my mind that day and the week after I found out, you know, that my therapist first suggested ADHD, and it was just overwhelming. So I had to use this book to kind of process and get it all out there. And whew, boy, it was a lot to take in. But it explained, you know, it fits so many of the things that are on that list really do fit with ADHD and the symptoms, and that's what told me immediately, like, yes, I need to take this seriously. Yes, I do believe this is accurate, and I need to get help and support. So in upcoming videos, I'm going to be sharing, you know, what do you do at that point where you think you have ADHD, you're pretty certain of it. What do you do at that point? You know, what do you do to get diagnosed? What are the official symptoms? What do you need to be looking for? And where do you go? What do you do next? So if that's what you're in for, or if that's what you need, if that's what you're up for, stay tuned, because we're going to go there. I want to be able to help you guys kind of move along in your path and to get the help and support you need. In the meantime, check out my other videos. Go to my blog, ADHDsurprise. There's a lot of stuff in my journey that you can read up on, and you know, you connect with the ADHD community on Twitter. It's a great place to find support and help. So thank you so much for tuning in and for listening to me, and I hope that it's helpful. If it is, if you have questions, please put them in the comments below. If any of this resonates with you and you're like, oh, OMG, this was me too, put that down there too. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. This is Jamie. Have a great day, everybody.